world of women's collegiate gymnastics, it doesn't get any better than this. The Alabama Crimson Tide, winner of 3 national championships, has another powerhouse this year. Meanwhile, Georgia, with 5 NCAA titles, has Bart and Bite. The Gym Dogs are undefeated and have one of the top all-around stars in the sport in senior Christy Litchie. Litchie is a threat to go 9.95 in all 4 apparatus and may even pop a 10 when you're out getting some popcorn. Alabama counters with the marvelously talented Andrea Pickens. Pickens, the reigning SEC Gymnast of the Year, can fly. On a scale of 1 to 10, she is a, well, you get the picture. Don't be surprised if Andrea catapults Bama to victory. Georgia, Alabama, hugs and kisses all around tonight. Don't count on it. We welcome you to Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for Southeastern Conference Gymnastics. Tonight, the bitter rivalry continues between Georgia and Alabama. We're expecting a crowd of over 10,000 to see 2 of the nation's best. The latest coaches poll is out. UCLA #1, followed closely by Bama and Georgia. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Marlowe. Welcome to one of the great rivalries in college sports. To measure the impact of this baby, you have to think about Duke, North Carolina in basketball, Ohio State, Michigan in football, and the Clintons versus the Republicans anytime. Bottom line, these 2 teams hate each other's guts. Happy to have working with me a woman who knew rivalries when she was on the USA national team, the Romanians, the Russians, Kathy Johnson-Clark. How good is this rivalry?
Well, first of all, Chris, those rivalries were nothing like this. And what is normally a very genteel sport, this is much more like a football game. I think some of the reasons are very, very obvious for the rivalry. The close proximity. They're both in the Southeast. They came into national prominence about the same time. But I think what is the key thing here is this rivalry starts at the top with the 2 head coaches. Both teams are led by 2 very strong, driven, and successful women. Suzanne Yocklin at Georgia and Sarah Patterson at Alabama. And there's a personal thing going there, which I think permeates the entire rivalry and makes it very, very strong, but I think fun. They know they're good for the sport of gymnastics, and they're helping out.
Georgia is the only undefeated team left in the country. The Gym Dogs are 10-0. Head coach Suzanne Yocklin says, hey, we haven't played up to potential yet. We haven't scratched the surface.
She is something else. She's very, very colorful, loves to win more than anybody else I've ever seen, and she is never completely satisfied. She said she still has her boots on all the time, climbing the mountain of success, and she expects no less from her gymnasts. They're led by Christy Litchie, a junior gymnast who's one of the top all-arounders in the country. And most important, I think it's going to be key here, she is so ultra-consistent on the balance beam, which is a very important event for Georgia to hit.
Meanwhile, Alabama has its best and deepest team ever, so says head coach Sarah Patterson.
It's interesting that teams are different in that Georgia really likes to recruit very strong, powerful athletes so they can throw the big, hot tricks. And Alabama loves to do pretty solid gymnastics, still with some big tricks there. So on paper, Alabama looks like they've got the edge here. They're second in the ranking right now. Georgia is 4th. But it's hard to say. I've gone back and forth watching workouts. They're led by Andrea Pickens, very, very strong, powerful gymnast, and also very consistent. So I think it's going to be an exciting competition from start to finish.
Early on in the Super 6, these 2 teams tied. One thing we will find out tonight, who has the best gymnastics team in the Southeastern Conference? Big crowd, Georgia, Alabama, 2 teams that don't like each other very much. Stay with us. The first rotation is coming up. ESPN's coverage of SEC gymnastics is brought to you by Kia Motors. It's about time everyone had a well-made car. Welcome back to the Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The best in Southeastern Conference gymnastics tonight. The Georgia Gym Dogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. We are underway. We're going to go now to Georgia on bars, and here she is, Christy Litchie, one of the great performers in the country. Litchie is a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
And on this event, Christy's consistency is up from last year. And the coaches said they think it's because of the depth they now have. It's pushing the upperclassmen to hold their place in the lineup. The new kids came on the block and doing hot tricks. Now the older ones want to keep up with them.
Scores so far, Diaz and Bird, 2 good scores. So Georgia off to a fine start.
Watch for all of the moves that either pirouette or turn, but they're on top of the bar. Also look for smoothness in the swing. This should be a double layout dismount. Kind of piked into it and then opened up. She actually usually does a 1.5 pirouette, and I'm not sure exactly where she made the change in the routine.
Christy Litchie not feeling well last week. Apparently much better tonight. All right, let's move to the vault. So far, Holdifer, Scarborough, and Tomasek with good scores. This is Jenna Rice. And Rice, a pretty good vault.
Very nice vault. That's worth a 10.0 in the code of points, and that's crucial in competition now. But the gymnasts come up with these more difficult vaults that start from a 10.0. This is a 1.5 twisting Yurchenko vault. She brought her feet underneath her a little bit too much. She could have gone for a little bit more distance, which would have given her a better landing.
There is Sarah Patterson. She had talked this week about how she was upgrading the difficulty in vault routine. She now has 4 or 5 10.0 level vaults.
It was definitely their weakness at Nationals last year.
Set now for Marlene Stevens. She's a 5'4" freshman from Houston. Both Georgia and Alabama with outstanding recruiting classes.
Nationwide, everyone did great recruiting freshmen. Everybody's touting hot freshman class, and they're competing them. Suzanne at Georgia, Suzanne Yocklin, really forces these gymnasts to earn their spot in the lineup. And especially the freshmen, they really have to get in and train properly to get into the lineup.
Christy Litchie got a 9.825 for her work on bars. Jenna Rice, 9.825. She had a large step on her vault.
Nice height on the release move. Notice when the gymnasts work bars, you have some gymnasts who really power their way through the uneven bars. Some work with a little more finesse and swing. Some a combination of both. She's very powerful on the uneven bars. Nice high tuck double back. A little close, it seemed, into the bar. But nice height, good tight twist. But from this angle, it really looked like she was going to touch the bar a little bit.
Sarah Patterson told me that Marlene Stevens has been cooking the last 3 weeks. And now another terrific vault for Alabama.
A very, very good landing. Could have been a little cleaner in the air, but the landing is so important. It's the last thing the judges see.
That's Kristen Sterner. Sterner, a sophomore from Ionia, Michigan. So both teams hitting in rotation 1. Crowd comes alive. Sterner got a 9.9. Terrific landing for her. And now another talented freshman, Corey Fritzinger.
One of the most talented freshmen coming in this year. Had a terrific opening competition at the Super 6 Challenge, placing second in the all-around. She was an elite gymnast. Competed at the USA Championships. Competed in several very high-profile international events for the United States. So she has a lot of experience coming in.
And she loves the rock. The professional wrestler, so she knows how to perform.
Another thing she loves is pressure, and that will serve her well. Because the more, the better. She likes the intensity.
She won the all-around last week against Michigan. Of course, Georgia squeezing that meet out when Michigan fell 3 times on beam in the last rotation. Wow.
She has a nice release move right here to open up the set, a reverse hecht. And probably the best part of the routine are her eagle giants that she'll work into right here. Has a little more difficulty. Should be a nice dismount. Pretty good form throughout. There's those eagle giants again. She's going to go into a double front. Now half twist right here.
Whoa!
Very nice. That was the best part of the routine.
How about that? Suzanne Yocklin, 5 national championships in her 18th year. And she has to be happy with the routine of her prize freshman, Corey Fritzinger. Here we go. Andrea Pickens loosening up for Alabama, the junior from Houston.
And these collegiate gymnasts love competing at home. Look at those scores. They're doing very, very well over on the vault.
So Pickens can let it all hang out. They have
Absolutely.
5 solid scores. Remember, you keep 5 of 6.
Nice vault in the air. Unfortunately, a pretty big step on the landing, and that's just an obvious deduction that the judges will take. It's valued from a 10-0. Very explosive. Nice position in the air, almost completely stretched, but that big step cost her a little. They still should be able to drop the 9.75. She will probably score higher than that.
Corey Fritzinger for Georgia got a 9.925. And now we go to Kathleen Shreves. Shreves, a senior from Dayton, Maryland.
She has an exciting routine if she does it as planned. 3 back-to-back release moves in a row.
Yeah, she is a big scorer. They count on her to get a 9.5 or above, a 9.95 or above.
I like her coach's description. Said she is a scrapper, one who will dig deep and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Alabama's Andrea Pickens got a 9.85. That big step costing her.
Here comes the combination. Full over the bar, right into a reverse hacked. And the third release, back to the low bar. Losing a few tenths of a point on feet. You really got to try to keep those feet tight together and pointed toes. But she's got nice big skills and a big dismount. You can tell we're getting more into the season. They're sticking more of these landings. First meet of the season, we saw a few steps on landings. We're seeing more and more sticks. Full twisting double back right there, and she loves that landing. I thought she hyperextended her knee, but nope. It's just relishing in the landing.
So that is the end of rotation number 1. Both Alabama and Georgia hitting. We'll come back. We'll give you the scores. We'll continue from Tuscaloosa after this. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa, along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. I'm Chris Marlowe. After 1 rotation, Georgia with a slight lead over Alabama. Rotation 2 is underway, and we're going to pick up Georgia on vault. This is Suzanne Sears, a senior from Marietta, Georgia.
Georgia's feeling a little bit of heat right now. First vaulter up, Amanda Curry, unfortunately missed her vault. Had a fall. They've got a 9.275. They need to drop. But look at this. Corey Fritzinger came back and just nailed a huge one for them. So if they could just drop that low score.
Sears has had some timing problems on vault. She's had a stress reaction. Kathy, explain stress reaction.
Kind of a 1 step before a stress fracture.
Okay.
If she stayed on it, probably would have ended up a fracture. All she needed to do was rest it. Didn't even have to go in a cast 2 or 3 weeks. And it seems to be fine right now, which is a good thing because she puts a lot of pressure on this leg. Very powerful gymnast. Runs hard, tumbles hard. She's the floor national champion.
Here she goes.
Watch how hard she hits this board. Good repulsion. Front five half twist. It's a nice 10-0 valued vault. Little weak on the landing, but that could be lack of practice, you know, when she was resting the leg. Not quite got her perfect timing right now for the landing. Big in the air, little sloppy in the knees and feet, but minor deductions.
I love it. I could do it.
Let's go back to the bars. And here is Kristen Sterner. All-American on bars a year ago. They look 2 good scores so far in the second rotation for Alabama. So Alabama has not missed a routine yet.
She scored one of the highest bar scores for the Tide this season. Started out, this has always been their strongest event. Last year they had 4 All-Americans on this event. A lot of depth here. Not a bad routine. Most of the deductions were just little feet errors, little hop on the landing. Nice shot here. Putting the hands on the uneven bars. Needless to say, takes a very strong grip, yet light enough to swing easily.
We can tell you Suzanne Sears for Georgia got a 9.875. And now here is Chelsea Bird, freshman from Little Rock.
I think I've said powerful many times so far in this competition. A lot of powerful athletes here.
She had her career best on vault just a week ago against Michigan, 9.925.
She was as explosive as anyone in this competition. Does that with ease. Sukahara with a full twist. Unfortunately, and it'll be interesting to see what the judges do, she was very off-center, and that can be up to a 3/10 of a point deduction. Watch how far to her left she lands off on the mat, and then hops that way too. So she'll have a hop on the landing and off-center.
Sterner's score for Alabama, 9.85. So Alabama continues to shine on bars. And now here is Reagan Tomasek. Tomasek, a junior now from Mastic Beach.
She's competing in the all-around here, all 4 events. Nice long lines on the uneven bars. Oh, my goodness.
And
was
so
not expecting that.
the first mistake of the evening for Alabama. She's okay.
That's not a fall you expect. It wasn't on a huge move, not on a giant release move. This is her transition out of the big release move. Just a simple overshoot and overshot.
She sure did.
Oh, just couldn't get her hands on. That was really a strange fall. I think she got a kick out of it too.
So she's back up. She must complete her routine.
Boy, she has nice form. Look at her feet, though. Tight together, very pointed toes. That's a shame.
So now Georgia has a miss on vault, and Bama has a miss on bars. We're coming back. More of rotation 2 right after this. Welcome back. Southeastern Conference Gymnastics, Georgia on vault. This is Marlene Stevens.
She's performing a Yurchenko with a full twist. This is valued from a 9.9. So if done perfectly, that's the highest this vault can score. Now keep in mind, new this year, the gymnasts are only allowed to perform 1 vault. Put a lot more pressure on the gymnasts.
Once again, you take 5 out of the 6. Curry had a fall, so pressure's on.
Whoa, strong landing, absolutely.
How much does the landing influence the judges?
Well, you know, Chris, it's the last thing the judge sees, and so it's the exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. But it is important, the content of the sentence, too. You need to see a tight body. She could have used a little more distance, a little more height. Those would be minor deductions because the judges are going to love that landing.
Chelsea Bird got a 9.85.
That's what's so good about you.
Tomasek a 9.275. And back to the bars, Andrea Pickens. Pickens a threat in all events. You see Tomasek had the 9.275, so pressure on now. They don't want to use that 9.275. So another fall would really hurt them in this rotation.
Andrea really uses her physical strength on this event, not just her technique, but she is very strong.
She's had a 10 in the past on bars.
You can almost see the bars jerking back and forth. She muscles it. She muscles the bar routine.
I love her here at Coleman Coliseum.
She launched that dismount, sent it out, but came up with a great landing. Here's the part the audience loved. Just fly right out there and stick it.
Last year, Georgia had its 21 meet, rode unbeaten streak. Snap here. Could it happen again? Pickens, a 9.95. 4 solid release moves and a stuck landing. So now it's up to Georgia to respond. Here's Christy Litchie, sister of Karen, the former gym dog of yesteryear.
She has nice speed and good timing on this event. Watch the repulsion on the horse. Usually times it perfectly.
She had a 10 this year on January 26th against North Carolina.
Watch right here. Handspring front pike with a half twist.
Oh!
Excellent. 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 Difficult vault. It's worth a 10.0. What's nice about it is she's in the pike position. She opens up before she twists. Gives it a lot more flair, a lot more style. Boy, and it allows for a great landing. She has so much time to see the ground after she twists. Watch her spot the ground. Right there, has a long time.
Litchie gets a 9.975, and the crowd here in Tuscaloosa doesn't like that. So it all comes down to Natalie Barrington. On bars, Barrington, a bars specialist, ranked 4th in the nation, an All-American a year ago. She has to hit.
Now, we've seen some of the power bar workers. This bar worker is more elegant, much longer, smoother swing. It's just a different style. They're both exciting for different reasons. But I love to watch swingers, I have to say. Very intricate work, pirouettes. Nice toe point throughout. Judges have to love that. Just very, very smooth. Not as difficult on the dismount, but the highlight of her routine is the ease in which she swings. Nice difficulty, but she just swings it so smoothly. Very clean. Little separation of the legs on the double top.
Waiting for her score, Natalie Barrington. She got a 10. Natalie Barrington.
This is head-to-head gymnastics at its finest. One-upping each other all the way up to finally a 10.
First 10 of her career.
And a moment she'll never, ever forget.
We're coming back. Bama and Georgia battling it out. We'll come back after this. Through 2 rotations, Georgia scores a season high on vault, but it's not enough. Alabama ties a season high on bars. Bama leads by 25 one-thousandths of a point. Well, Georgia and Alabama. This is war. A little bit earlier, we asked Sarah Patterson the impact of the Georgia-Alabama rivalry. This is what she said.
I really think it's a good thing. I think that it has brought collegiate gymnastics to the forefront of college sports. And I think that, you know, it has helped our sport grow. And I don't necessarily think that that's bad. I think the rivalry stems from the fact that if we're going to win a national championship, we have to get through the University of Georgia. And if Georgia is going to win one, they have to get through us. And so I think that in the close proximity of us being within the SEC and have won 8 national championships since 1987, always being in the top few teams in the country, I think it just lends itself to one of those great things about college sports.
Sarah Patterson, 3-time National Coach of the Year. Let's update you on the all-around standings. Corey Fritzinger has the lead. Pickens, Litchie, Sterner. Boy, a packed house tonight. Rice, Stevens, and Thomasek. That's the most all-arounders I've ever seen in a gymnastics meet. Speaking of Kristen Sterner, here she is, the sophomore, set and ready to go.
A last-minute replacement in the balance beam, which puts her in the all-around competition.
Now, Alabama's already had a fall on beam, so the pressure is on.
And it really is what team gymnastics is all about, picking up for one another, because mistakes will happen, even when you're trying your best.
Reagan Thomasek got a 9.85. Dara Stewart fell off, had a 9.325. About as good as you can do with a fall. Wobble there. How much pressure do you actually feel as a gymnast when your teammate before you falls?
It all depends on the gymnast and how they handle that kind of pressure. Also, where they are in terms of their preparation. If you have trained pressure sets and you can handle that and you're hitting 10 out of 10, and you just transfer it to the competition floor. There are many gymnasts who can handle immense pressure on this event. I always competed better for team.
Okay.
I liked that pressure. I needed that pressure when 5 other gymnasts were counting on me.
That's Kathy Johnson-Clark, one of America's greatest female gymnasts. I'm Chris Marlowe. Glad you're with us.
Thought you were going to say oldest.
I wouldn't do that while you're here.
Living relic. Very good routine. Just that one little balance break. Few form deductions with feet throughout the routine. But for the most part, she handled the pressure.
Yeah.
Will certainly score higher than that low score they want to drop.
Back to the floor. Chelsea Bird. Bird won the floor event at Michigan. They're off to a good start. Vexler and Litchie. Why Litchie going in the number 2 slot, do you suppose, on floor?
There is a lot of strategy used in team gymnastics.
Kind of pump up the score?
Absolutely. You know, and you kind of play with the lineup. Suzanne Jocelyn does that frequently in competition, trying to find the perfect lineup where they can achieve the highest team score possible. A little short on double layout. Nice opening pass. We'll definitely have a little deduction. Tough pass. Unexpected because she was going at it with such ease. One-tenth of a point deduction for the step out of bounds, and a little short on that first double layout. Excellent difficulty in the tumbling. Watch the beautiful line in this double layout. Straight all the way throughout, piked a little early, and that slowed down her rotation.
Kristen Sterner for Alabama got a 9.725. We'll give you Chelsea Bird's score when we return. Alabama leading by a bit. Back in Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 2 of the top 5 teams in the nation. Number 2, Alabama. And number 4, Georgia. Gina Rice set ready. She's a freshman from Longwood, Florida.
And seems set to have a very successful collegiate career. Off to a great start. She's won the all-around twice in the last 5 meets.
Bird got a 9.725 for her work on floor.
Her mother, Joan Moore, now is a prolific balance beam worker. 1972 Olympian, 11-time national champion, and just gorgeous on the beam. So maybe she passed a little on to her daughter. Very relaxed on balance beam.
Nice.
Nice pickup. Little off center on the dismount. Notice how she landed off to the side. but very calm and cool on the beam. Right here, the twist takes her off to her right. That'll be a little deduction.
So Rice stays on. And a sense of relief after you finish your work on the balance beam for the night. So now Corey Fritzinger, who is leading in the all-around competition, set for her floor routine. Fritzinger, a freshman from Virginia Beach, and I'm told she's going to do a new floor routine tonight.
This is a rather devilish routine that she's going to have some fun with the Bama fans midway through.
9.825 for Rice.
Listen closely to the music, and we'll sit back and kind of have fun. And she's a great tumbler, too. Opens with an Arabian double front. Really hard to land. Brand new routine for 2 days old. Alabama fans love that. Sweet home Alabama. No.
Alabama fans sitting on their hands right now, folks. Corey Fritzinger of Georgia.
Well, all fun aside, that was a very, very good routine.
And she gets a big round of applause from the crowd here in Coleman Coliseum. We're coming back. Georgia, Alabama. Along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Chris Marlowe. Local hero, national hero, Andrea Pickens. Alabama.
She has her work cut out here. Got a couple high scores, but they really need some scores in the 9-9s to stay competitive with Georgia.
Fritzinger got a 9.875. Once again, Alabama's already had a fall, so they must count every routine now. Every good routine, I should say.
Check out one of her layouts.
Did you say that as a freshman she won the balance beam?
99 NCAA balance beam champion.
I thought you did.
No, I think you read my mind. You can tell they know they're fighting for every single tenth of a point. They are so crucial in a competition of this caliber.
Terrific routine for Pickens. We'll give you her score in a moment. Back to the floor. And freshman Marlene Stevens. You see what Georgia has done so far. 4 good scores.
Which is a very high level of difficulty in all 3 tumbling passes.
Pickens got a 9-9. Pickens got a 9-9.
3 very strong tumbling passes. Suzanne boasts the strength of her tumblers on her team. She really punctuates this routine with a beautifully stuck double pike right there.
Welcome back. Southeastern Conference Gymnastics. Here is the anchor for Bama on beam, Lissy Smith. She hasn't fallen off this year. Career high 9.975, but she has to hit here because earlier Stewart fell. So it's up to Lissy Smith, a beam All-American.
Because she is the anchor on beam in the truest sense of the word. Coach Sarah Patterson said she has never coached a more consistent balance beam worker.
Marlene Stevens got a 9.9 on floor.
Oh, no.
Holding on.
A less experienced gymnast would have fallen. It's one of the hardest things to do is to fight the urge to overcorrect, overcompensate, panic. It's easy for me to say now, sitting here. Fortunately, Alabama just has not been sharp enough on balance beam to secure themselves.
Yeah,
they needed to put some pressure on Georgia for their last event. Because Georgia still has to go to beam, but they've let some steam out. Definitely seen a better performance from her. Little bobble, but she did handle it. Watch right here. 2 layout step. That's a difficult pass on balance beam. She was actually on the corner, on the edge of the balance beam, on the landing, and pulled it back.
So Bama done on beam. And our final performer of rotation 3 will be Suzanne Sears for Georgia. So the senior, Sears, is the anchor. Georgia performing well on floor. They should be making up some ground here.
Florex national champion, which actually set a record for Georgia for winning the most individual titles. So an exciting moment for both Suzanne Sears and Georgia.
Smith, 9.775 for Lissy Smith. Pretty good under the circumstances.
Check this pass out. Back to back.
Wow.
And she can actually do a punch front out of that when everything's going well. Nice to have that choice, isn't it?
Do you decide not to do that in the air, or do you preordain that?
I talked to the assistant coach, which is their tumbling and vault coach, Doug McGavin, and he said, I mean, the decision would be up to her.
Okay.
If she's feeling on and right, then she'll throw it. If not, she doesn't need it.
Oh, what I wonder, in the midst of the routine, or does she decide before the routine starts whether
No,
to
I
do
bet
it?
she decided in the midst.
Okay.
The competition this close, you figure there's no reason to take a chance, only if she was just perfectly on and felt absolutely sure. Because at this point, it's more important to hit solid. Don't give away anything. Alabama's given away a little bit over on balance beam. Georgia still has to go to beam, so right now she played it the right way. Very good power in her tumbling. A little bent knees in the back pike, but keep in mind she's taken a few weeks off and only competed for the first time last weekend after recovering from the stress reaction in her leg.
So the Georgia Gym Dogs under Suzanne Yocklin cooking on floor. Bama struggling a bit on beam. We'll come back after 3 rotations. We'll give you the scores when we return. Stay with us. We are glad to be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Southeastern Conference Gymnastics. For those of you who have inquired about Suzanne Yocklin's mom, she has been ill. Her mother, Doris Allen. Suzanne told us today that she is out of the hospital and doing much better. Thank you very much. So we wish her the best.
Great to hear. She's one of their biggest fans. Goes to every single competition. In fact, she was on her way to the competition when she fell ill.
All right. After 3 rotations, Georgia now has the lead by just a little bit over 3/100ths of a point. The all-around is a dogfight between Corey Fritzinger and Andrea Pickens. Litchie still with an outside shot. Stevens, Rice, Sterner, and Tomasek. So it all comes down to the final rotation. 2 of the top teams in the nation. Georgia's on the balance beam, a treacherous event, and Alabama's on floor. A chance to make up some points. So Marlene Stevens set, ready to go.
Off to a great start. Talia Vexler went first, scored a 9.875. That is a bang-up start for Georgia on balance beam.
And Robin Hawkins making her first appearance in some time after suffering an injury, a 9.825 on floor. So Hawkins with a comebacker.
This is still open for either team, but Alabama definitely gave some breathing room to Georgia. You want a little more breathing room, though, to be really secure when you're on the balance beam. Very little room for error, tiny little mistakes, hard deductions, and they add up. So they have to be very, very focused.
What happens on beam when you're 4 foot up? So it's different when you're at home. Very different at home.
Suzanne Yocklin talking to one of the officials, and Sarah Patterson coming over and saying, wait a second, let's get going. What are we waiting for? So now I think we're set, ready to go, and Stevens is on the beam. Keep in mind the balance beam just 4 inches wide. How do they do it?
You know what? There are times you feel like you're on a sidewalk, and other times you feel like you're on a tightrope. Layout loud. Very difficult pass in collegiate gymnastics. We're seeing more and more of them, but it's still very nice pass.
Fans at home might want to know, is this her music that she puts on, or is this just house music?
No, this is just house music.
Okay.
They've got background music just so it's not deathly quiet, where you can hear your heartbeat.
Everybody goes,
So far, very solid. Had the slightest little balance check after the layouts. Watch this double tuck dismount. She almost sends the balance beam through the floor. She punches so hard. Boom. Nice height. Finishes the double tuck with her head level to the beam.
So 2 good performances for Georgia to start off. Vexler got a 9.875, and Stevens with a solid routine. Back to the floor, Alabama's Reagan Tomasek. Tomasek, of course, had the spill early on the bars, which took her out of the all-around competition, at least for tonight.
Last year, she ranked as high as 2nd in the nation on this event and spent 9 weeks in the top 25. A very solid performer here. Even points her toes in a double back. I love it. Oh, clean double tuck. These are the little things.
I've heard
So
that
we get to hear it after all. I was kind of bummed before because I love the music. I was very impressed with the form and the tumbling. Not as difficult as some of the high-powered routines, but beautiful form.
Coach Patterson calls her the most improved gymnast on the Alabama team. Back to the balance beam. We can tell you Marlene Stevens got a 9.875, so Georgia starting with 2 terrific routines. 2 for 2. Now, Cassie Bayer, sophomore from Evans, Georgia. Georgia's top freshman a year ago. She's on the beam.
There's a beauty of a pose. Nice balance, flexibility. Last year she competed the most out of Georgia's 5 freshmen, mostly on this event. Came on strong in the middle of the season.
Had her season best at LSU earlier. Knee surgery last summer, so she's come back from that.
So far, this team is doing everything they're capable of on this event. Little hop on the landing, but for the most part, they are just really hitting and staying tough.
All right, we're coming back. More after this. Along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Chris Marlowe. We're in the 4th and final rotation, Alabama and Georgia. This is Alexa Martinez.
Out almost the entire season last year with a torn ACL. Right after the Super 6 Challenge, the next meet, tore ACL. Was returned to action on beam and floor after a year away from competition. He seems very happy about it. Not bad work. 2-time Scholastic All-American. Good work on the floor too.
By the way, if you're wondering where Katie Horniker is for Alabama, she's out with an injury. Same for Georgia's Sierra Sapunar. So both of those performers we will not see in this one. So back to the balance beam. Here is Kathleen Shreves. Georgia with 3 scores over 9.8 so far. So they are performing well. Remember, you count 5 of the 6. The 5 top.
Throughout her career, she's been a very important competitor in the lineup for bars and beam. Whoa, fight! Still a deduction, but there's a moral victory here.
Martinez got a 9.925. So she was a good sub for Stephanie Kite, who was originally penciled into the lineup. No, she's struggling a bit.
Just say I'm not happy about hearing a little applause in the audience.
Talking about applause when the performer does poorly.
A mistake, yeah.
Okay, when the opponent does poorly.
They're just applauding because Bama gymnast coming up on the floor next, and they're looking ahead.
I would say that most of the Bama fans are hoping she falls off and takes a header.
No.
That would be my guess. This rivalry goes way back. Shreves, and she makes it off.
Yep. She fought. Couple little bobbles, but she fought like crazy to hold it on. I have a feeling when they huddled before this event, they're like, be tougher than you've been all season right now. So they are deductions, and they're gonna take them. But she did stay on the beam.
Suzanne Yakin saying, way to hang in there. Way to hang in there. So let's go back to the floor. Gina Rice. She is ready to go.
She has a very nice level of difficulty in this routine. Full twisting double back. In pike position. Very well done.
Bama scores so far very good.
Performance quality. Some gymnasts are a little hesitant to put it out there. It's nice to see her really perform it.
Fourth and final rotation. 5 performers to go. We'll be back. Stay with us. After 3 complete rotations, Georgia leading by 3/100ths of a point, but Bama trying to catch up on floor. Georgia is on beam, and it's a 10. Gina Rice, let me see.
That might be an individual judge's score. Yep, that was the individual judge's score of 10. Now the average is...
It's a 9.975.
Whoa, big score for Bama.
Wow. One judge had a 10. 9.975 for Gina Rice. So that is a career high for her. And now the pressure on freshman Corey Fritzinger. The leader in the all-around after 3 rotations.
Keep in mind, even though she's a freshman, she has a lot of experience, international experience, competing for the U.S., competing at U.S. national championships, previous to her collegiate career. And though this is different, she's carrying some of that over. Fortunately, that'll be a deduction. Watched her in warm-ups nail that perfectly. Solid for the most part. A couple little breaks in there. Won't be a huge score. It'll be good, but not a huge score.
Shreves before got a 9.725. And we're back to the floor. Kristen Sterner.
Three-time All-American. All-American on this event.
4 big scores so far for the Crimson Tide. Boy, the crowd is really pumping the Tide up here. Feel it in the arena.
That's why they're excited to have nationals here this year. Makes a huge difference. The other teams have to get used to performing almost in a vacuum, and then they get huge support. But isn't it exciting? It's great for all these athletes to compete at home and get the huge support that they all get when competing in front of their home fans.
The Tide is rolling.
They're trying to force a 10.
Sarah Patterson and Bama on the move. We'll be back. Alabama smoking on floor. 5 routines. A 9.975. Now check that, a 9.95 for Sterner. It's 9.975. 9.975 for Sterner. Georgia scores good on the beam, but not up to the onslaught of the floor exercise scores by Alabama.
Well, they've done a flip-flop. They're doing about what Alabama did over on beam, just not quite sharp enough to get the huge scores they need.
Here's Christy Litchie, Georgia's final performer.
One of the most consistent performers on this event, especially in pressure situations.
The last week, she fell for the first time in 3 years. She had an off meet, according to her head coach, Suzanne Yacob. Wasn't feeling well, and that can do it.
Everybody on the edge of their seats waiting for. Wow, that was a nice, solid routine.
Yeah, she's going to get some big numbers on that. Will it be enough, though, to lift her team?
We'll talk about fighting for every tenth of a point, every thousandth of a point. Threw those arms up very quickly and nailed it.
The final performer of this meet. And it is the great one, Andrea Pickens. Litchie gets a 9.95. So it's going to be close. Here goes Pickens.
She couldn't have asked for anything more from herself.
Crowd is on its feet. That's the end of the meet, and it's going to be close, folks. Sarah Patterson thinks she has it won. There's Andrea Pickens' dad. He knows his daughter just ripped out a terrific score.
Boy, they've all done so well. This has been a great competition.
Waiting for the score of Andrea Pickens. Pickens, let's get the correct score. 9.95 for Pickens. And that will win the meet for Alabama. She needed a 9.8. She hit a 9.95. And as we suggested at the top of the show, it's Andrea Pickens leading Alabama to victory. So Alabama has beaten Georgia.
Wow, turned it around like crazy on this event. What an awesome finish.
We'll come back. We're back at Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the #2 Alabama Crimson Tide have defeated the Georgia Gym Dogs by 15 1/100ths of a point. The final results of the all-around: Andrea Pickens wins it, followed by Christy Litchie and Corey Fritzinger. Sarah Patterson, the winning coach. Andrea Pickens, the star. They are standing by with Kathy.
Sarah, unbelievably close competition. Your heart had to have dropped a little over on balance beam. What did you tell your gymnast going into the last event?
Well, I thought we did a good job on beam. We were just a little nervous, I thought, and we got out of a tight spot, and I thought our veterans came through like champs. And I just told them when we went over to floor exercise, I said, this is one of our best events. Enjoy this, react to the alumni in the crowd, and just do a great job. And I knew they could come back.
When you have a competition this close, even those tiny little mistakes count. Do you think coming back from those will help you leading up to nationals here at home too?
I think so, because there was a lot of little things that we didn't do great tonight, and I think the University of Georgia was really on, and I think that there are a few things that we can do to clean up, and I'm very proud.
Yeah. Andrea, how did you feel during the competition? Could you tell how close it was, or are you guys even aware?
Well, we know, going against Georgia, it's always close when they come. And, they've cleaned up a lot, and I think it just helps us go in the gym and practice harder. We know we got to do to get to nationals.
How have you trained to handle the kind of team pressure that you had to feel, particularly on beam? There were a couple of little breaks going into it. What do you tell yourself, and how do you train to prepare for that?
Just training-wise, we have inner squad every so often. Just, you got to go up there, and if you have a fall, you got to be able to step up and relax and go do it for the team.
Can you even imagine nationals yet?
I can imagine.
Is that all you want to do right now? Congratulations, both of you, and good luck the rest of the season. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Kathy, Alabama scores a school record 49-7 on floor. It comes down to the final gymnast in the last rotation. Andrea Pickens hits for Bama. Alabama wins it. So Alabama improves its record to 11-1-1. Georgia no longer unbeaten. Georgia falls to 10-1-1. The highlight of the meet, Natalie Barrington. She gets her first ever 10 on bars. For Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Chris Marlowe. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Alabama beats Georgia. Good night from Tuscaloosa.